Are you upset that every time something goes out, it takes you all day to fix a wire? Are you tired of inline fuses, messing wiring harnesses, and absolutely out of control battery terminals? Then you need to invest in Fuse Block. Fuse Block's your all-in-one answer for all your light bars and interior accessories. Even your headlights will work better on Fuse Block. So basically, in the current system, we have a bunch of inline fuses. They connect everywhere. You don't know what's going on. So if anything electrical happens, it becomes an absolute nightmare to trace down and figure out. It's corrosive, messy wiring. By moving it all to one little fuse block, we should be doing a lot better. Many builders often remove the old wiring harness, especially in something like this where we have inline fuses or even tube fuses. Tube fuses are hard to find nowadays. This is a more common fuse, so we're going to be able to find them more prevalently if something goes wrong. Hopefully we can take it out for a ride and check it out, but our clutch is still messed up from the last parade. That's going to be a whole new thing. We got to redo that whole pedal system. It's just garbage. The lights, maybe get you guys some shots of what it might look like if it was done. We went with this fuse box specifically because most fuse blocks you buy that are aftermarket are little. And this one's a little bit bigger and it fit in our price range. Hopefully it lasts us a long time. If not, I guess we'll have to try to upgrade to a better one. Let's check out our fuse block here. What brand of fuse block is this? Do you remember? I don't either. And it's the best in Chinesium fuse blocks.
Yeah, it was off Amazon.
It says Blade Fist Box. I don't know if that's supposed to be fuse box because it's F-I-S-E.
Maybe it's fission when it melts down.
Hopefully it does cold fusion and not hot fission.
Yeah.
$30 Amazon. This is pretty cool. I like how you can label your own fuses, but you got to label them on the cover. They got all kinds of stuff here. Look, we can finally hook up your air compressor. We can finally hook up your fan override or your air horn or your hazard lights.
My horn has never worked, so.
Oh, there's regular horn here too. You don't just need that. It has roof lights, interior lights. We can finally hook up your exhaust valve. Actually, there is one for a winch here. We could also hook up your VHF and your trim tabs and your underwater lights and your refrigerator.
That either, I didn't.
Your aerator. Oh, even your bilge pumps. You can put both 1 and 2 bilge pumps.
Well, I need a snorkel before I need a... I don't know, a snorkel would look cool on here.
It would. Snorkel would be pretty sick, dude.
Never use it. I plan on going through the river.
I like how this cover works where it just uses these 2 little wing nuts here. Wing knobs or whatever you want to call them. You said you have not built a bracket for this yet, right?
No. Because what I was planning on doing is put a riv nut here, come out, and then put in a bracket like that and a plate. So you could just wire it right there. Just a little bit away from the edge. You don't want it close to the edge.
Don't push me because I'm close
get the
to
wiring
the
in there.
edge.
So you need to be like...
All the wiring comes off the sides on this, Mark.
That's why I said you have to put it away. Is that a positive and a negative on each side of that? Here?
I don't know. We could take out the negatives are right here. You got 2 negatives and 2 positives, 1 on each end. This is your negative bus right here, so you can connect all the negatives, I think.
Okay.
I'm going to double check it, but that's what I'm assuming is the case.
If you need wiring, I have wiring in the house.
This isn't just a meter, it's a multimeter. See if I can set this up somewhere where we can look at it still. Put it there. Y'all can barely not see it. All right, there we go. Once we find the link on Amazon, we'll have it linked below. I have no idea what brand it is. It's our best in Chinesium fuse block. So if I connect those, they beep. Okay, this is our ground bus. So is that. Okay, all our grounds are going to connect to here. Might as well check them all while we're here. I wonder if this bus transfers. Okay, it doesn't. So that means one of these sides can be for ignition on and one of them can be for ignition off. So we figured out our box here. All right, here's my thoughts. We'll start easy and go with the light bars. All of these, well, most of these are light bars. I don't know what this is. We'll have to check that. Hold on. Up here, guys. Class is over here. Okay, so all these connections here and the connections here are all for the light bars. But we don't need the inline fuse after that, so I don't know if we're going to cut those off. We probably will. I'll probably just cut them all off because the more fuses that are there are the more complicated. So I think the first step is to start lopping these off and start putting some wire in. We need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? 5 of those. And where are we at on grounds here? 1, 2, 3, 4. I got to figure out what this fifth wire is for here. I wired it. I'll throw it up here. That way I can check it out later. If you haven't seen our light episodes where we hook up all the lights, you can check that out up above. There's 2 of them actually, so maybe I should put them in the description. I want to be able to save this inline fuse since I'm adding wire anyway. Let's just cut this right here. Now we can take this one here and go check that it's what size it is. Best I can tell with my strippers here, it's a 14 gauge. Now, does Mark have 14 gauge wire here? See, that doesn't look right. Look how small that is. I prefer not to use smaller wire. See, that's all smaller wire. Then you got this big old honking thing that says it's about an 18 gauge. That too is an 18 gauge. I'm gonna have to go hit Mark up for some wire. See if he's got some. If not, I might have some. Let me double check that I don't have some first, just in case. I do have plenty of 14 gauge wire here, so we're good on 14 gauge wire. Let me see if Mark has some first, and then if he does not, then we'll use mine. Put my wire back since Mark has some. Got these little spools here at Harbor Freight. That's pretty cool. It's got the little rollers on them and stuff. But I don't think he's got anything that's 14 gauge here. 12 gauge, 16 gauge, 22, 20, 18. Well, there's 14. It's brown. 10 speaker wire, some zip cord, 15 foot long, and bell, which we don't need bell either. So the only 14 gauge right here, this brown, which brown's fine with me. We can use brown. Exactly the same. Should I make that the same length or should I make it longer, you think? Oh, you're supposed to put it through the little hole here. Look at me screwing it up already. Now I'm going through the lights because it's the simplest and easiest, and you guys can kind of get a gist of how we're going to do this if you're new to this. And we need 4 light hookups. So what I'm thinking is we'll use these 4 right here, where we hook up just 4 on one side. That way you know, well actually we'll do it on this side. That way it's on the inside. That way you know all your lights are hooked up in that one area, so it's easier to label. I should probably start figuring out which ones go where, that way it makes this easier, but we could always rearrange them later. Is that going to be enough length to do whatever you want to do?
Yeah, that's fine.
I think the winch that they give you in here is for if you hook up the winch with the toggle switch on the inside of the cab.
With a relay.
I have a feeling they're all going to be about the same length. So if I just cut 5 more this length. Wait, 5? I don't need 5 more. I only need 4 more. Now, he wants to mount it right here. I really would like to move it and like almost put it on a pivot to where you can hide it away for if you are going to show the truck off to somebody. But it's not my job. This is his work. So I'm going to do it the way he wants it done. Stop moving on me. It keeps moving on me. You could almost label them. We're back to the spoof movie, not another Jeep movie. I thought that was lost forever.
How's it going?
Just one step at a time.
Probably got to cut a lot of zip ties.
I ain't afraid of no zip ties, dude. Although, you know those rolls only come with 1 roll of 14 gauge wire and it's brown. But I guess after you use that roll, we could always replace it in the little roller.
Have you been only taking one knee lately?
Where'd that come from?
Back of the truck.
Oh, that's not mine, dude. I don't
No?
know where that came from.
It's got to be yours.
It's not mine. I've never had one. I don't buy knee pads.
Oh, I thought it was yours because it's brand on there.
I'm not a big brand person. I do like to buy quality tools, though. That's true. But I don't care if it's DeWalt or Milwaukee. I'll buy either one of those. Or even, you know, I just don't like to buy garbage tools if it's something I'm going to use all the time. If it's something I don't use that often, yeah, I'll just get the cheap tool. Shrink tape for no reason because it actually was the right length. This one sticks out. I'm going to have to tape it or something or cut it off. If we have extra, I'll probably cut it off and redo it. Then I forgot to shrink on the tape on the third one. So we're doing pretty good. Now what I'm thinking before we go too much further is after I get these ones set up, I'll run a power to it. That way we can test it. So this is not going to help till I run a power wire to it. Maybe I could just use a jumper wire real quick to test this. Are y'all back with me yet? Kind of, if I didn't knock you over. That's our first overheat of the day. I got our multimeter back out and good old trusty yellow here. We're going to make sure it's still trusty before we use it. We know at least has connection. So if I connect it to this power source here and this power source here, our lights should work. In theory. And as you can see, that light's working there. Our light bar's working right there. Our light bars are all working in the front there. Okay, I think our backs we actually have to hit differently. We'll just turn them all back. Okay, our back lights are good. Whoo, that's hot. Our good old trusty jumper getting hot on us. Basically what we have here is a wire family reunion. And in this wire family reunion, you have Grandpa confused to talk about. Doesn't know where he's going. You have Uncle, I know how to do everything. You have Auntie confusing and discombobulated. But we need to bring this family unit together. And that's what we're going to do today. So our light bars are done on that side. We still got to do our ground. Let me cut some more wires here. Those are also 14 gauge. And I don't know that we have any more 14 gauge here. It's only brown. use our accurate measuring system. Now comes the question. Should I give each negative its own? I probably should, just to keep the circuits organized. I will solder them though, just because that's how you make sure you don't have any problem. After this, we will check our lights again. Oh, why didn't you guys stop me? Well, that's garbage now. You could splice it, and I could have just used that end again, but the more splices you have, the more likely things will go wrong. And I'd like to avoid things going wrong. If you notice in our wiring system here, I still plan on using the relays. We're going to leave the relays intact right where they're at. We're just wiring to them differently. Basically getting rid of all these inline fuses and whatever other ones we can find in the wiring harness. I don't know. Oh, the other one's the winch, I bet. I don't know what this is for. That's probably the entire system power. The negative's looking better though, even though I still got to connect a ground to it. That's a ground wire. I got a 14 gauge ground wire. I don't think that's going to be enough. All right, I'll have to check that in a minute. Maybe I'll call Mark here in a minute and see if he'll pick up some 10 gauge wire. So this is the alternator. Damn it. I lost the stupid shrink tube. Dang it, I lost the stupid shrink tube. See, there's another package like this, and I don't want to break into the new one until we use all the old one. And I set it down here. It must have blown off. Let me find it. Ugh. But where did it blow off to? It's not up there. Oh well, I guess I'll come back to it. I saw a little piece here at least. I could use this little piece and maybe I'll run into it after I use this up. These are the tedious things with these kind of builds. And I know they're not the funnest. And the CJ5's been a job from the get-go. But once we get it going, this is going to be a pretty nice little ride. It's always best to do this when it's super hot outside in the middle of summer. Arguably, I'd prefer to be doing it in the rain. Not like a lot of rain, just a little rain. As I say that, the breeze picks up and I'm like, that breeze feels so good, but I know it's going to ruin the audio in my video. All right. Thank you, wind. Right when I go to do the shrink tube. Now let's just get our hands close enough to only slightly burn ourselves, but keep the lighter alive. 1, 2, 3. There's 4. There's 4. Heck, that one was about to break anyway. It's all bent out, all twecko. I think I'm going to run all these wires the same direction as that other one was. In fact, I might even organize them a little better than that, just so I don't confuse myself. Let's go to number 1 here. Oh, that's the last one we did too. I was about to put that in the right spot on accident. Actually, you know what? I might turn that. Okay, so number 1 here and number 1 here for the ground is the same. So let me pull this out. Now we'll do number 2 and a number 2. Number 3 and number 3. And that just leaves us with number 4. You know what I might do though first? It's always best to have all your wiring harness wires the exact same color. God, I wish we had some different 14 gauge. Granted, it would have been just 4 reds and 4 blacks had you given me the choice, so I guess I can't judge that heavily. Let's go ahead and make ourselves a power wire, right? So if this is going to go like this, right here, kind of like that, I need a power wire that comes all the way over here. So it's got to be like 3 of these, 4 of these, 4 yellows. Actually, I don't know how big the yellow is. Let's go check it. Now, I'm going to want a bigger wires, right? Those are all 14 gauge wires. I think I'm just going to use red because he has this red one here that's not very long. This big, girthy beast. This 10 gauge right here. And that's about long enough as it is. I might just run that for our power wire. Well, I might cut it. Let's go see where we're at on length. Because you got to remember, this one wire we're about to connect here fuels this entire hub of power. So if you have all your lights on at once, it's gonna be pulling. And I hope this 10 is actually good enough to actually keep up. Probably should actually have a little bit bigger wire, but our little bolt here isn't that big anyway, so maybe it'll be all right. Maybe. Okay, so if I want to power that bus, I don't know, maybe I should use it, all of it. What do they have in the 10 gauge wire on that rack? Oh, it's got red 10 gauge, so we'll use this whole length here. I'm just going to go ahead and use the whole length of this thing because our rack there has some more red 10 gauge that we can use. If it was black, I definitely wouldn't use it. But since it's red, I'm going to go ahead and do it. See if we can find some big boy here. I'm going to warn you all at home, this is my first time ever building a fuse blocks from scratch. So let me know where I'm doing this wrong in the comments below. Now we'll just toss that bad boy there. We still have a bunch of wires connected. I feel like we got rid of so many wires, but there's still a bunch here. Okay, so this is for our stereo. One of these is for our starter. I don't know. Oh, the other one's the winch, I bet. That makes sense. So we might need a ground. Do you have a spare ground around? That's like a big ground like you would use for a battery?
No.
Damn.
But you can go buy some.
Yeah.
Do you want to do that?
Well, I'm trying not to spend so much money. We could do that later. when we do the big test. Yeah, we'll do that when we do the big test.
Maybe I have some old jumper cables, and there you go.
What I'm thinking for our circuits is, okay, I have all the light bars hooked up already, right? Then for this other side, I was gonna do like power to the ignition switch, right? 12-volt accessory,
Well,
radio power.
why don't we need to do all that? Because then you're gonna have to route and then route back in.
Yeah.
Just leave it for the outside, and we'll put one in the inside later.
Okay.
And we'll just get a small.
Oh, then we really didn't need a big one. We could have used a little one.
Yeah, that's what
I would just go put one fuse box for everything.
But then you got to route through the firewall twice.
I get that.
Just leave it like it is. Put the lights.
That's kind of why I was saying, why don't we move the fuse box to the inside of the cab? Because then it's just these 4 circuits that are going into the cab instead of back out of the cab.
Well, you can do that too if you want. You decide. Whatever you want to do. It's just you're going to have to mount that somewhere, and there ain't shit underneath that.
Right.
Hey, I don't know.
Right. That's exactly. I think we're in the same boat on that.
Well, you can decide whatever you want. I'll let you.
Yeah, because my plan was to wire the whole Jeep into the one fuse block. That's where we got confused, the two of us. We were talking about 2 different things.
I just wanted to clean up this.
Now we're questioning on whether we should move our fuse block into the inside of the cab, kind of like I wanted to originally. And if we are doing that, do I have to remake all my wires? We're also questioning whether this 10 gauge supply wire is going to be big enough, or if we should go with a bigger wire. And if I do that, if I move it into the inside of the cab, come with me. All right, let me get the cover for the fuse block. Say this is our fuse block. I would almost like it to be almost on a hinge or something where we can pull it down like this and work on it. Or under the seat, you know, where it's kind of, you can tuck it up out of the way, even right there. And then you can pull it out on a hinge and tuck it up out of the way when you need to. It's a lot of work, and I don't know if we got that in us. Nor do we have that much time.
So what you're saying is it's a quickie situation?
I kind of wish our fuse block either connected underneath or on the side here instead of going out horizontally, because this takes up the most amount of space it could possibly take up. Now, some of these we could bend over or whatever, but I don't know. I'm not happy with this fuse block exactly. I don't like that it's exact mirror image of each other to where you can flip the cover over and get confused as to what's going on. Look how much room that still takes even if you do it like this. Even if it was on the reverse side but inside more, it'd be better. Now see, I know like this one's going to be easy to change over because the relay never fit anyway. And then if we move this, should we move all of our relays? If we moved all of our relays, it would really clean up this engine bay though. Actually, that wouldn't be hard to rewire. Run in, neither would the other ones, and just leave the relays out here and then just run the wire in there. In fact, if I did that with this one too, I might be able to run the relay over there with the rest of those. Granted, there's no room over there, but I can at least run the relay here. I don't know why that wire's going that way and this one's going this way. Might have to drill another hole in the firewall here because that one's not big enough to run all those lines. Curious what this power wire's for. We had this connected to the power, but what did we have it to? Oh, I think that might be the radio. Okay, well, we might need a negative first before we can even test to see if that's the radio. All right, do you think this house ground wire is good enough to run this? Let's test it out. Let me put that over there so I don't forget it. Man, it's a hot one. Luckily, it's already got a loop built into it. Like 7 inches from the midday sun. I dropped the wing nut. Okay. Remember, we make the mistake so you don't have to. I do not advise you try it like this at home. I'm just trying to test the system. It's interesting, the radio is still not coming. Oh, that might be why. I got a jumper wire here. The reason our radio didn't come on is I'm thinking this is our radio. So what I'm going to use is our jumper wire again. Connect it there, let it hang off the vehicle. We'll connect it to this 12-volt power supply there. Because if I hit the toggles, we have power. So let's see if our radio works now. Our radio still has no power. Maybe the ignition has to be on. I've rebuilt this wiring harness 3 times now. I still don't remember how it works. Somewhere I destroyed the radio or turned it off.
The battery's not connected.
Battery's connected right now.
Wow, I don't know what you did. Don't forget this amp meter is fucked. It's backwards.
No, it's not. It's right.
It's on when it's not on.
Look, right now it's off, right? The ignition's off, so the voltmeter's off. If you turn it to the left and go to accessory, your voltmeter comes on.
Oh, maybe that's what I was doing.
And if you turn it to your right So you have ignition, the voltmeter turns on. So the key was probably just in the wrong spot. I was like, I swear I wired that thing right.
So you're going in the cab with it?
I'm weighing my options right now. But as of right now, the radio's dead anyway. Somewhere I killed the radio.
Okay.
I guess I'm going to have to figure out why our radio has no power. I got to take this bolt out. I think it's either a 3/8 or a 1/2 inch. If I remember correctly, you take this one screw out and the whole thing just pivots. Ha ha! Ho ho! Hee hee! Ha ha! Ho ho! We have 2 positive wires that connect to this one right here. So I'm going to disconnect that bad boy. Let's test that to see if we got power. Now what's weird is the gray wire sticking out here. It says positive, but now it's reading no voltage. So that red wire is not connected here, I don't think. I don't know what that brown wire is connected to. It just says positive. Let's get a jumper wire and we'll connect it off one of these other powers we know is good and connect it to the radio over there and see if that's what's wrong with our radio. Now it's disconnected here completely. So if I take these double red wires here, put my alligator clip, and let's see which one of these, that one turns on. Oh, heck, that might be my whole problem. I had to turn to AC instead of DC. Okay, so our ground here is good. Okay, that's got 12 volts to it now. So if I hook our 12 volt up to here, we still don't have no stereo. Oh, that's because, yeah, it should work. So that's our signal wire. Okay, this says radio here. So if I connect that to there, that should be connected. There's an inline fuse right there, it looks like. Okay, so we got the red wire coming into here. And then it connects this brown wire. Guessing the brown wire goes to the radio. Might have to cut some zip ties. So let's check this fuse right here. This fuse might be bad. And it looks good. Alright. Are we getting a reading from it? Okay, it's getting 12 volts there. It's getting 12 volts there. Oh, ta-da! The radio is not plugged in. I think I figured out why the radio doesn't work. It's because it got accidentally unplugged. Or somebody unplugged it thinking that it was one overheat down. Alright, so I'm going to have to try to reconnect our radio here. Okay, that's plugged back in. Now let's turn on our power. By the way, something still has a draw on there. I can see the spark. Now let's try. We still don't have a light on it. Okay, we have power. What should I do? What would you guys do in the comments? I'd like to hook up all the wiring. So should I hook the wiring up here, go to the fuse block, and then back, and leave it all under the hood? Or should I try to bring it over here in the inside the cab? All right, so curious about something else real quick as well. Let's turn on the mass majority of lights we can and see if our wires get hot. I don't feel like they're getting hot. All right, but then the second problem comes of how am I going to hook that up, or where am I going to put it to where we can figure out what to do with it? I mean, we could put it on a hinge like I was talking about. We could put it on a hinge where it like pivots out like this, which is what I would like to do just so it's easier to work on. But I'd have to build a contraption for that, and that might make life a little harder on myself. I could mount it either on that kick panel over there or this kick panel over here and like make a kick panel for it. I mean, Mark was fine with it under the hood. So if we leave it under the hood, that's fine. And then what we do is we just run our wires from over here to... we just change our wiring from the ignition switch. You know, we run 2 wires, one off the power for the ignition switch, and then all the other ones over that way. We have enough wire to do it, but should we do it? I mean, the only fuse I know about that's even inline is the one I put under here, the one for the radio, the one for the headlights, because we took all the rest out already with the light switches. The easiest way is to hook up the wires to the ignition switch, just the 2 wires going to the ignition switch that go to the fuse block, and then from there, the wires for everything else come out, and then we can connect it under the dash. It'd be nice to hook up the gauge lights to the brake lights, or not brake lights, tail lights. That way you know when your tail lights are on. It's only like 4 wires going under the hood. Why am I complicating this? Why? Why am I complicating this? I don't get it. And then like for the radio, if we just disconnect that 1 wire from the back here, those 2 wires, and run them to the fuse block, it's done. Why am I complicating this? I mean, granted, this toggle switch won't be doing nothing anymore, but to be fair, Who wants a toggle switch doing it anyway? That's what we'll do. That's what we'll do. I'm overcomplicating this. Overcomplicating it. Overcomplicated. All right, so right now what I'm doing is taking off the ignition switch. I'm taking out the ignition switch. That way I could disconnect all the wires on the back of the ignition switch and basically run them out to the fuse block. Oh, that's the turn signal flasher. That's ignition. That's battery right there. And there's what, 3? So that's our accessories. So where did this go to then? Oh, that's our 12 volt. Okay, so far we got to take this over there and this, and then our 12 volt batteries that are over here. This is our turn signal flasher. So I guess we'll start with that one. All right, that's a good start. I'm just using that length I had, and we're gonna send these through. This will be my ignition power, turn signals, and voltage gauge.
No. No good is that long. Plus, it's harder to drill through tires than you think it is.
It's not so hard to put a knife through them, though.
Sidewall, yeah.
As long as they have air in them. If they don't have air in them, is a different story. So I'm going to lop that bad boy off there. Can I slide it on before it shrinks? Ha-ha!
The long one goes in the back.
Like this.
Yeah, and it goes close to here. You can put them closer or farther apart, and I'm gonna put some.
Well,
of
the
that.
mounts are on the corners, so the
Yeah, but it's metric. You know, it's metric.
metric. It's just any machine screw that fits in there, like 1/8" machine screw.
If we put one, but what's in the box is metric.
Oh yeah, that probably is. Whatever. I forgot that there was some in the box, dude.
Yeah, I have some machine screws too. So
Yeah.
and I have taps if you want even to tap it.
A little tap tap taparoo.
But we can put a nut under here when we put the rib nut.
Yeah.
We don't even have to bolt the bottom side because I can't really get it into the drill.
Well, okay, so here's the other thing. I put a 10 gauge wire for our power in. I don't know if that's going to be enough wire.
Do we have anything thicker?
That's the thickest we got. But I need to match it on the negative side because I use this little jumper wire right here. Granted, I realize this is like a 18 gauge wire. That's what I used it to test the lights. This bad boy got hot. So I was like, well, put a 10 gauge because that's the biggest we got.
Heavier wire?
I don't know if we do or not. I guess we could test it, but we got to figure out our ground first because whatever goes in's got to come out the same size. You know what I mean? So aggravating.
I need to. Why don't you measure between the two, and then we can place this.
Oh, that's a good idea. That's a good idea.
I didn't want to mess with your wiring.
In fact, you can disconnect that. You can disconnect it right now. I don't need that. And
But still, I don't want to mess with it. So just measure between the two bolts and then set me, and then I'll just put.
here, we can mess with it. I don't need that on there anyway. I'll just take this off. That way it moves. That way we're more accurate. Eyeball it.
Okay.
Put that wing nut on so I don't lose it. I lost it. And it's lost. So if we want it to be out to here, well, that's kind of the wrong angle. Huh? Well, no, you can move it. Huh?
Is that the where you need to drill? Well, we can just put it.
I'm sorry, boss. It's with the wing nut now. Can we have a moment of silence for the metal bracket and the wing nut? Oh, apparently the wing nut actually came back. I was going to say, you probably want to reshape that bracket a little more so it's flatter.
No, I can.
Do you want me to get my scribe out for you?
For what?
My angle cheater?
No, I'm just gonna mount this and let you go.
It won't take me but a couple seconds to put all 3 of these eye bolts on and connect them. And then I'll be out of your hair. Oh, I already put it over there.
Rebend this one. This one's okay. Did you use spades or did you use forks?
Spades. I like to use the round ones. I don't like to use the...
The ones that come off?
Although I will when I'm out of the other ones. When I'm out of the round ones, I use the forked ones.
I'm just gonna put this on and see how far I'm away.
Just going to go ahead and put all these ends on. I already know that one's going to go there. That way I can get it a Mark's way for a little while I reconnect all that other stuff. Ooh, I'm going to be able to get wild on this one and use a yellow. God damn it, Mark! You're doing a fine job. Keep it up. Our brown wire, I gotta put an eyelet on. We've already connected our turn signal switch. This is our power that's supposed to go to the ignition switch. So we need eyelets for both of those that we gotta solder on. I'm half tempted to just take that off and change it completely. I'll use this yellow eyelet here instead of a little slip-on thing, because this is supposed to be our ignition wire. Now this one's supposed to be our alternator wire. So I'm gonna pick that up here. I'm not worried about the grounds here. I should worry about these whites though. I really would like to connect them to the brake lights. I don't know if I already did that though. We're gonna have to take our light switch down to figure that out. But let's just start with one thing at a time. We started with our ignition switch. We're gonna finish with our ignition switch and then we'll go to the next. Okay, let's take this off. That is for our brakes. So we need to run 2 new wires. I should have measured out how long that line was that I made. It broke. That blade broke.
Okay.
And it got my hand.
Did it cut it?
Yeah. It broke off and destroyed my knuckle. The death wheel got me. Could have been worse. Good thing I wouldn't put my glasses on, dude. Never know where that thing could have went. I mean, yeah, our brake light. This one is the rest of everything. So I'm going to have to wire that differently. And this, I don't know what this is or where it goes to. I wonder if that's our 12-volt feed. If so, I might be deleting that. Let's check that real quick. Okay, connecting the battery so that we can check that wire and see if it's got juice, if that's our ignition power in. If so, we're deleting that wire anyway. That is our 12-volt feed. Okay, we can delete that one, which is good because that gets rid of an old garbage wire. This is our other gauge and some other power. I don't know what it goes to, but we're going to connect it anyway. I got to run a wire to this for the accessories. And that goes to there for our main feed. So that should be a big gauge wire. Well, heck, I might as well just use the whole thing. Okay, let's pull this wire out from right here. It is. Okay. Now our accessory panel is going to connect right here, if I could take that off. So this is what Mark was building, and it's going to be a little rack that holds it right here. We'll just drill some holes and put it together. So this side is our accessories powering this bank. This side is our 12-volt power powering this bank. That's where we're at. Now he wants the brake light to be constant, so let's go get us an eyelet. That way anytime you press the brake light, you have brake light. We're back to this thing looking like a crazy mess. Alright, our key is tight. There's our accessory wire. Here's our power wire. Is to our gauges. And after that, we should be pretty well good. Radio wire. We might run the radio wire as well. Yeah, no, would I like a bunch of colors to where we can organize the colors, you know, like an actual wiring harness? Yes. Do you know how much that would cost us? Way more than we're both willing to spend. Out some, maybe I can. Is it gonna bite me? Nope, we're good. Let me put this ignition switch up. Then I just got to do the radio. Now see, when I can go with color coding, I'm going with the color coding. Blue is what color your remote wire is to your stereo. That's the wire that turns on and off your stereo. So if you notice, we have blue going to the, setting it up to go to the stereo. Can you roll me out some blue?
Go for it.
There you go. That's it. Dang it, I put the wrong end on there. Tragic. Let me go get the right end. That's what happens when you start getting in a hurry. Tuck it all up and put a ground and we're good to go. Let's go check it though. We'll use our normal ground. I would have liked to have done this when we did the whole wiring harness, so it's not all, what it is right now. Having to redo everything. But it is what it is. We thought about it when we were building the other wiring harness. But if you want to see how to build the wiring harness that we built, you can look in the links above. Or comments below even. Did you color coordinate your wiring harness? Of course we did. Everything's red. When we go to label this, we're just going to start turn everything on and then just start pulling fuses to figure out what's what. Now to test it, I'm still going to use this because I got to go pick up a ground for it. Now if I connect this, probably don't need... You wing nut.
Oh, just reach under and get it.
I couldn't do that. My hand wouldn't fit. Now, we still have a bunch of stuff connected to our power here, but it's a lot less stuff. Think about it. We had 4 extra wires connected to that earlier. All right. Let me know if a fire starts. Apparently it's in gear.
I'm getting out.
Then who's going to hit the brake?
What? You're on the side of the brakes.
The headlights work? Hit the dimmer, which we did hook up. Dimmer's working. Clearance lights are working. That wire's not hot. That wire's not hot. Neither is that one. The starter still works. We learned that the hard way. Leslie tried to run over you.
No, you tried to run me out.
Now I gotta go get a new wire for that, but we should be squared away after that. If you've been watching this long, you might as well subscribe. And remember, don't wait for opportunity, create it.